Thank you for getting pierced at Westcoast Piercing. We consider piercing to be a collaborative type of body art. We make sure you leave our piercing studio with a beautiful, well-placed piercing that was performed with the most state-of-the-art safety protocols. Your jewelry is the appropriate size and style for the piercing you received, and it is made out of the safest materials available for piercings today. Now it's your turn to nurture the piercing in the coming weeks and months so that it heals perfectly and continues to look beautiful for years to come. First, I want to explain what to expect while the piercing is healing. In the first week or two, it is normal for your piercing to swell and occasionally bleed. Bruising is rare but not unheard of. Mild warmth is also a normal sign in the first couple of weeks after the piercing is performed. Some people experience some scabbing in the first week or two. In general, it is best to leave this scab alone. Eventually, your piercing will become less swollen and start to feel like the tissue in the area is returning to normal. This doesn't mean you've healed. This means that you are entering the next stage of healing. This healing phase can take weeks or months to complete, depending on the piercing you received and your body's response to being pierced. Typically in this phase, the piercing secretes a yellowish fluid that dries on the jewelry. We call the dried secretion a crust, and unlike a scab, removing this crust is worthwhile. In wet areas of the body, like the tongue or the inside of the lip, the fluid discharge may look like a little bit of white fluid. In small amounts, this is also normal. Finally, once your piercing nears the end of its healing process, it will cease to emit crusties and the tissue around the area will soften. When this happens, we can consider the piercing healed. One important note, healed does not mean permanent. In most cases, you will need to wear jewelry at all times to prevent the piercing channel from shrinking to the point that we cannot reinsert jewelry. Cleaning your piercing is relatively easy. For most piercings, you will need only 2 or 3 products. Our Aftercare solution of choice is NeilMed Piercing Aftercare, which is a sterile, isotonic saline solution. The way we clean the piercing is simple. We don't need to rotate, spin, or remove the jewelry to keep our piercing healthy and healing well. In the shower, we will spend a little extra time spraying fresh, warm water at our healing piercing. Optionally, if our piercing has gotten dirty, we can gently wash the exposed part of the jewelry with a mild, unscented liquid soap, making sure it is fully rinsed off before we get out of the shower. After our shower, we will spray the piercing site with our piercing aftercare, making sure not to touch the nozzle to the piercing itself. We can then wipe away any excess crusty material with a saline-soaked piece of gauze or a tightly wound cotton swab. Finally, we will dry the area thoroughly with more gauze, more swabs, or a disposable paper towel. We will want to repeat the saline rinse at least one more time per day, though twice isn't a bad idea. That's all you need to do to clean your new piercing. Often, it's the things that we don't do that ensure a problem-free healing process. We recommend that you refrain from touching your piercing. If you do need to touch the jewelry or the piercing site, please wash your hands before and after. Touching is the most common culprit when it comes to infection. You should avoid swimming for the first 2 to 3 months after your initial piercing. Water in ponds, lakes, and rivers, as well as oceans, can cause infection and introduce debris. The water in pools and hot tubs is treated with chemicals that can really irritate healing piercings. By all means, dip your feet in, but swimming and piercings are a bad combination. Don't remove your jewelry during the healing process unless instructed to do so by your piercer. Healing piercings often close in seconds, so keeping jewelry in is the best bet unless you are having an emergency situation or you've decided to retire the piercing. Don't use harsh chemicals or ointments. Piercings are a unique wound, and they heal differently than cuts or scrapes. They also don't behave like other types of body art, so your tattoo aftercare strategies won't work for your piercings. Avoid internet advice. All of the piercers at Westcoast Piercing are here to help you every step of the way. We've attended classes and worked with the best piercers in the world to develop a safe, thoughtfully considered aftercare approach. There might be good advice out there, but it's indistinguishable from bad advice. Trust your piercer. We want to help. Sometimes piercings don't heal the way we would normally expect. Problems can have a variety of causes. Even the best maintained, most perfectly placed piercings aren't guaranteed to heal. Communication between us is key to getting small problems fixed early. We also offer free checkups at any point, and we strongly suggest you schedule an appointment for a follow-up consultation about 4 to 8 weeks after your initial piercing. Your jewelry was installed by your piercer with threadless pins bent to be as tight as possible, threaded ends tightened, and captive balls and gems to be snug. Just like your piercing, keeping your jewelry safe and secure requires maintenance. We recommend checking your jewelry once a week at minimum to prevent it from accidentally falling out. To learn how your jewelry works, read the jewelry section of your Aftercare sheet or ask your piercer. All of our jewelry is made by the most reputable manufacturers in the piercing industry. They include Anatometal, Oris, Body Gems, BVLA, Industrial Strength, and more. Your jewelry is either implant-grade titanium, implant-grade steel, niobium, or solid 14-karat or 18-karat gold. If you have any questions about your jewelry, please let us know. Once again, we want to thank you for getting pierced at Westcoast Piercing. If there are any questions you have about your piercing or jewelry, please contact us by phone, live chat, or email at any time.